Yes, ma'am.
Hey, Miss Linda.
It really is. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Miss Linda.
Your sentence already there.
Yes, sir.
But with that,
But you know, I think I didn't I get them out when you had that.
Somewhere down
You got some more.
This is today. This is extra for today.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know what when I found out that she died. What was one of the bases on campus? The daughters, her daughter, one is in Ocean Springs,
Yes, sir. Mississippi.
and the other one is in some parts of Florida, a little north of Miami.
Okay.
That one will be here Thursday. The one from Ocean Springs is already here.
Yes, sir.
Trying to make arrangements and stuff for her mom. That's really hard.
That is
Yeah,
hard.
now they don't have a grandmother nor grandfather on that side. I mean a mother or father on that side. Yeah.
Right.
Mother's Day coming Sunday.
Good, sir. How are you?
They are
We just kind of
and my daughter had just come visit me. I haven't seen her in a long time. 3 minutes. About 3 weeks ago. She and the oldest grandchild and my two great grandboys showed up.
wow. That's hard. That is hard.
Is it something special tonight? Reason why we got all these people?
I'm thinking temporary, well not temporary, I think the service is set for miracle temple.
Yes, sir.
You know, then let me have my mama's service there, my dad's service, my mother Cleo, my son Cedric, and my little short uncle Jack. You know.
Yes, the superintendent's church.
Not much.
I know if he was living, it wouldn't be any problem.
No, none whatsoever.
Because he wouldn't even let us give him it.
2-minute warning.
We gave him, we gave a donation, you know.
Yes, sir.
But I'm hoping it's available because other than that, it would have to have been a shot.
I'm going to start this.
Miracle temple. Yeah, not miracle temple. What ball in there? What is that?
Word.
And this granddaughter just didn't know that either one of those.
Pastor Kennedy, I know you had a relationship with him.
Oh yeah.
Great man.
Why did they?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, Mr.
They leave it on. They leave it on. Turn it off. You got to
Those games.
So it's on. Your down is off. So you're now off. There you go. He's on currently.
Down is on.
Down is off.
Do I want it on? Well, I want it. I won't remember to turn it on.
18 degrees, you're not pretty.
Well, see, I printed mine at home, but here I'm running my mouth to get my stuff out.
25 seconds. I gotta wait for my friend to have a seat. I mean, all right. It is 6 o'clock, so I'm going to get this started. If y'all would rise. I've asked Danny Hancock to lead us in the invocation and Mr. Joe Mitchum to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Father God, we go before you tonight. We want to thank you for this time together, oh Lord. And Father, we've had a good year overall, and we just pray that we can finish up strong. And I want to thank you for everyone that's had a part in educating our children, Lord. And we just thank you for them. We pray your blessings on them, Father God, and that they can finish the year and have a great summer and come back in the fall. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Now, before we get started, we do have a request to add something to our agenda. Mr. Durrett, you want to?
Yes, so we're just asking permission to add the request for permission to bid on our kitchen equipment, chemicals, pest control, and fresh produce for the 24-25 school year. We would need a unanimous vote to add this. If we add it, it would be down at the bottom 10.6. But this is just a request to ask for permission to put those things out for bid for the 24-25 school year.
So I have a request to add this to our agenda. Do I have a second?
Seconds.
Second by Mr. Mitchum. Do we need a roll call vote?
Yes.
Or just
Yes.
Yes.
Linda Henderson,
Yes.
Hunter Smith,
Yes.
Otha Anders,
Yes.
George Mack,
Yes.
Debbie Abram,
Yes.
Danny Hancock,
Yes.
Donna Dawes,
Yes.
Danielle Williams is absent, David Ferguson,
Yes.
Clark Canterbury,
Yes.
Greg Phillips,
yes.
Joe Mitchum.
Yes.
Okay, so that will be added as item 10.6 under new business. So we'll visit that one in a minute. Okay, so otherwise than that, you should have before you the agenda for tonight's meeting. I hope you all have had a chance to view that. So I would accept a motion to accept the agenda
I'll
as
do it.
corrected.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Anders.
Hearing nothing from the public, I move that we approve the agenda, adopt the agenda as printed with the addendum.
Thank you.
Second.
Second by Mr. Hancock. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Thank you. We will handle it as presented. So, Mr. Brandon Sutherland, we have a couple of great announcements to present. Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm skipping forward. Approval of the minutes. So, from the April 9th, 2024 meeting, you should have viewed and perused the minutes as written up. Do we have a motion to accept those as presented?
So moved.
So move. Thank you. By Mr. Mitchum, second by Mr. Clark Canterbury. Any comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no.
No.
All right, passes. Thank you very much. Okay, now, sorry, Brandon.
I'm ready.
You're good? I just gave you a warm up there for a second.
Good deal. Well, first and foremost, good evening, and we appreciate you. All that you do as board members, and of course, we're always excited to come in and give you some good news and some of the things that are happening within our district. And we're so proud of the students and educators that we have in our district, and we always want to brag on them as much as we can. We had, as many of you know, some of the students that we have within Lincoln Parish School District are phenomenal. And some of the things that they're doing, not only just on a district level, but on a state level and a national level, it's phenomenal. And so we're excited to recognize a couple of those tonight. We had two students at Ruston High School score a perfect 36 on the ACT.
Here, here.
So I did a little bit of research here because I was far from a 36 when I took it. So I don't know much about it. Less than 1% of students in the United States of America get a perfect 36 score on the ACT. Exactly, it's 0.25%. Give you a little bit further, in 2020, 1.6 million people took the ACT. only 5,000 of those scored a perfect 36. And to have 2 of those here in Lincoln Parish School District is unheard of. And we're excited to announce that and to celebrate these students tonight for that accomplishment. The first one that I will mention, he was unable to be here tonight. He had a band concert to go to, and so he is out performing and probably just killing it right now. But that was Cedric Sirio, and so we'll make sure he gets an award. But we do have Mr. Anhar Wasi with us. Yep. Oh, you want to get a picture? Okay. This is my photographer. It's my personal photographer. She comes with me. Thank you.
Anhar, you can't sit down yet. We got to brag about you for a minute.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So, of course, like I said, this is a huge deal. So I want to open this up to the board for any comments that you guys would like to have.
Anhar, would you do us a courtesy of introducing your family who's with you tonight?
Yeah, okay. So, my mom is right here. Stand. And my dad and sister are right over there.
Stay in the room only.
I hear you.
Yeah, my dad. And my little sister.
Very good. Very good. Any comments the board members want to make?
Congratulations, obviously a feat that is very, very impressive. You know what your next steps in life want to be, where you want to go to school, what you want to do?
Well, I do want to study computer science, but I have no idea where to go to school yet. But
What grade are you in?
11th.
Awesome.
I've got good news for you. You don't have to take the ACT next year.
I know. Yeah, I know. Very
So,
relieved.
That's congratulations. I know that doesn't come without a lot of work, so congratulations on that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Very impressive.
Okay. So, we have some that are good at taking the ACT, but we also have some students that are very good at putting together small engines. The Future Farmers of America is a big program at all of our schools, Ruston High, Sinsboro, and Shudron. One of the most competitive competitions that takes place in the FFA is small engines. It's extremely competitive, especially here in the state of Louisiana. And we have 2 students here tonight that were state champions, the best in the state at putting together small engines. One of these students, during this competition, they work as a team. One does the assembling and one does troubleshooting. And so they worked as a team and they brought home first place. Best ones here in the state. So we definitely want to recognize them tonight. We have Mr. Gabe Middleton and Jake Taunton from Ruston High School. My personal photographer's here today. All right. So these guys, I want to say, let's see, Gabe, you did the assembly, right?
Yes, sir.
And Jake, you did the troubleshooting.
Yes, sir.
And so, Gabe, you're pretty quick at putting together a small engine. In fact, Gabe got the Ruston High School record. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
11 minutes and 15 seconds. Is that what I heard?
Yes, sir.
Pretty big deal. Now, listen, my truck has got a little tick on it. So after it's over with, I need you to come out there and look at it. I'm going to open this up to the board and let them, if you guys have any questions or comments.
Do you have any family members here and teachers? Who can you introduce that's here to support you?
These are 2 of the teachers, Ms. Coleman, Mr. Wilson. This is my grandpa, this is my grandma, and this is my mom.
Well to be proud of. Good job.
Jake, who you got?
I have my mom over here trying to take pictures. And then I have my sister in the corner and an exchange student from Denmark, Molly, who's living with us right now. And then my stepfather right over here outside.
That's great. Any comments from board members? I do have a weed eater issue, so I'd love to visit with y'all.
Just say congratulations to y'all, and we appreciate all the work your teachers have worked with you and done, and the work you put in to win that. And congratulations to you both, and big congratulations to your teachers for their contribution.
Here, here. Good job.
All right, one more award tonight. We have great students, but we also have great educators here in Lincoln Parish. And this being a Teacher Appreciation Week, we can really make a statement in saying that we have some of the best teachers here in the state, and I go on to say maybe even the nation. I'm a little biased though. There's an award that the state does every year. It's called the Exemplary Educator Award. And this goes to early to mid-year or mid-career teachers and educators here in the state of Louisiana. It can be teachers, it can be principals, assistant principals. And these individuals are nominated and go through a process and are chosen as exemplary educators in the state of Louisiana. They chose 16 this year, and one of those was right here in Lincoln Parish. And so we would like to congratulate and recognize Miss Lacey Holcomb from Sinsboro School, high school, elementary, the whole nine out there, as being an exemplary educator in the state of Louisiana. Awesome. All righty. So
Awesome.
we're going to open up to the board. Any questions, comments,
Yeah,
concerns?
you can't go sit down yet.
I just want to say that Lacey, I know this is, me and her kind of came on at the same time. I came on board, she took over as principal, and so I just want to say she's done a great job at Simmonsboro.
Here, here. Anybody else? If not, congratulations. You're awesome. We appreciate you. Okay, before we get into the other parts of this meeting, I would like to let our guests know you are welcome to run. You're not going to hurt our feelings if you don't want to stick around. We just are so proud of the awards and the recognitions y'all are getting, not just locally, but we're just so proud of you guys. So thank y'all for what you do and for what you've done. But y'all could go if you don't want to stick around and listen to all the other stuff that we're going to talk through. While they're leaving, Mr. Mack, I'm going to be recognizing you for the committee report on the Finance Committee.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. President and Mr. Superintendent, fellow board members. On the third, thank you, Mr. Mayor. On the third,
You just turned it off. There you go.
we good?
Yep.
All right. Thank you, sirs. Thank you, Ms. Linda. We had our meeting, Finance Committee meeting on May 3rd, and we covered specific items which Ms. Duke will address shortly, and comments also from the superintendent. Item 1 here, to approve for fellow board members as a whole, to approve a one-time salary supplement of $3,000 and $1,500 to be given to salaried, certified, and support employees, respectively, in June 2024. That will be next month, from the restricted balance of the 2000 ad valorem. We need a full board vote on this measure. We'll open up for consideration, questions, comments from board members. We like to have a motion to support this item.
Make the motion, we approve this one-time salary supplement distribution.
Second.
Second by Mr. Mitchell. All right. So, any further input from Ricky or Juanita? You want to add anything to this?
I'll just add that this is just a one-time payment. We were able to identify some additional funds out of the 2000 ad valorem fund. This tax was actually renewed for 10-year renewable property tax. 50% of it is dedicated for teacher salary and teacher and other school employee salary and benefits. And whenever we did the math, we have these additional funds to be able to distribute this time. But it's not going to be a recurring payment. It's just one that we are just able to do at this point.
Okay. Any other comments from board members? Anybody from the audience have any comments? Mr. Bill?
on the agenda, it doesn't say anything about anybody other than salaried employees. And his motion, the way I heard it, only covered salaried employees. Now, how do we get the others, as a part of the record, being able to get some of this money?
Your statement is considered, but we don't take questions at this time. We do take statements. So if you have a statement, you're welcome to it.
I'd like to see you all include somebody other than the salaried employees in the motion for the one-time salary.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Yeah, I'd like to hear the answer to the question. If I had to ask it myself.
About hourly employees?
Everybody.
That's
somebody got an answer.
So,
That's not one of them. Somebody know what's happening.
So
I came to hear.
so it's $3,000 for certified employees and $1,500 for salaried certified employees. So it's for, yes.
That's all we have.
Any other comments?
Just let him have it. Work up, Joe.
If not, motion and second has been presented, so all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Motion passes. Mr. Mack,
Yes, sir.
81B.
Yes, sir, Mr. President. On item 2, to authorize the administration to solicit proposals for employee benefits consultant and or third-party administrative services for our board's employee cafeteria plan benefits, including its health plans. Our committee spoke to this. It was approved, subject to, again, full deliberations by the board as a whole. Ms. Duke, would you elaborate, please, ma'am?
Yes. So this is just a request that we're making. We feel like that with the changes in the healthcare industry across the country, in our state, the increased costs that our health plan is now realizing, we just need to be able to engage, search and engage some professionals that can help us with moving into new waters with our health plan, as far as trying to control costs and also maintain the level of benefits that we have for our members, and to be able to continue our health plan going on into the future. The recommendation is for an employee benefits consultant and third-party administrator of our cafeteria plan benefits, which includes our health and dental plan, our self-funded plans, and then also our supplemental employee benefits as well, insurance benefits as well.
Okay? So this, again, does come as a recommendation from the Finance Committee, so we technically don't need a motion, but we don't need we don't have to have a motion.
Yeah.
I didn't think we'd have a motion, but
We
if,
don't have to.
yeah.
We will entertain a motion at this time.
I so move.
Hancock, Ms. Linda for a second. Okay, so, any comments from board members? Any comments from the audience? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. All right, that item as well passes. Thank you. Number 9, any unfinished business that we need to deal with?
Oh, one additional thing.
Yes, sir.
Mr. President, I'm sorry.
No.
We also had some additional updates. And do we do that now with Ms. Duke with respect to, Ms. Duke, would you further elaborate on those items that we discussed?
So in the Finance Committee, we just gave an update to the committee in regards to our health plan changes that the board adopted at the last meeting. The chiropractic care benefit, that is being changed to a July 1 start date instead of a June 15th start date at the request of the Office of Group Benefits. I'm sorry, Blue Cross Blue Shield. And so and we also explained how the benefits would be implemented from a cost sharing standpoint for participating members
who actually receive that benefit going forward, since it is a mid-year change. Also, we did talk about the Save On prescription drug program that was approved as well. That will have a July 1 start date. And also, it'll be subject to, for the members, I think we've identified, or Blue Cross has identified 30 to 40 of our members who actually receive prescription drugs on the formulary that the Save On program utilizes provides discounts for, and they'll be reaching out to those members to enroll them in the Save On program to receive additional discounts beyond the cost that they're paying now for their prescription drugs. I did want to point out that if members do not elect to participate in the Save On program, that the co-insurance changes in it, is that they're actually carved out, and they are subject to a 30% co-insurance payment on the cost of their drugs for not participating. So it's a win-win for everyone to enroll who are eligible, who are actually being prescribed drugs on the formulary for the Save On program. And then also I gave an update on the biometric health screening that's going on throughout the district right now. We've already had actually 5 schools counting today, 4 schools at the time of the meeting that actually had completed their screening. Screenings have been scheduled at all school sites. They have dates selected from now until May 24th. And we also did have an audit update just to keep the Finance Committee up to date on what's going on there. Our independent auditors will be in our offices on June the 17th to begin their field work. We had a meeting with them last Tuesday, and it was a good meeting, and we look forward to getting started with that audit.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Duke. Mr. President?
Sir. All right. Moving forward to 10.1, to adopt the resolution providing for canvassing of the returns.
So this is just accepting the returns of the election for the Shudrint District. Number 6, proposition, bond renewal, bond election for capital improvements. Votes for the proposition were at the bottom, 292 for, 173 against. Passing by a majority of 119. So we just asked the board to adopt the resolution canvassing the returns and declaring the results of the election held in Shudrint District number 6 from Saturday, April 27th, 2024.
Okay. Any questions or comments from the board? Any comments from the audience? No, well, I should take a motion to accept that, I guess, first.
It's on to Mr. Hancock with that motion.
For Shudrint?
No, I'll make that motion. Caught me off guard there, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Thank you. Motion by Mr. Hancock, second?
Second.
Thank you. All right, we have a motion and a second. Now, any comments or questions from the board? Any comments from the audience? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. All right, let's adopt canvassing of Ruston School District number 1.
Okay, so this is the same thing, just for the Ruston School District, Proposition 1, bond election for the capital improvements. Voting, this one passed, 1,161 for, 1,001 against. So we just asked the board to adopt the resolution canvassing these returns and declaring the results of the election held in the Ruston District number 1 on Saturday, April 27th, 2024.
Okay. Do I have a motion for that?
So
I will
moved.
make that one.
Mr. Anders, thank you. Second
Second.
by Mr. Mack. Any discussion from the board? Any discussion from the audience? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Hearing none. 10.3. Seymour.
So this one is, so if you remember when we did the Simmonsboro bond and that passed, we used what's called the CMAR, Construction Management Risk Process, where we picked a contractor. We have a committee that would pick that, and then they handle the construction bids and all that for that bond. We're asking to do the same thing for the Ruston project. The CMAR method teams the owner, designer, and contractor all together to work on the project. It's a little easier process and a much more efficient process. I think before, Mr. Hancock, Mr. Mack, and Mr. Canterbury all served on that committee. So we're asking to do that again. We just want to grant permission for the superintendent to use this construction management risk service for the Ruston School District Bond Number 1 construction.
All right, so there is a request. Do I have a motion? Mr. Hunter, second. Thank you. Mr. Mitchum? Any discussion? Yes.
Is that for all the projects on that capital improvement plan?
It won't be for those that we buy, like the scan machines, the buses, and the parking lots. It'll be for the others.
Okay.
Yeah, some of those aren't really construction, so
Right.
they're separate. Those would be bid or bought off state contract.
The parking lot's not construction?
It is, but that's drainage and different stuff, so it's a different kind of contractor that we would need for that.
All right. Any other comment? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Okay, let's go to 10.4 for the HVAC units. Mr. Edmiston.
Yes, sir. We have some units at Cypress Springs and Hillcrest that are getting older. They are approximately 20 years old, and it's time to replace them. We have 8 units at Cypress Springs that we need to replace and 9 at Hillcrest. We'll use ESSER funds to do this, and so we're asking for permission to advertise for bids for the replacement of 17 HVAC units for these 2 elementary schools.
Okay. So these funds will come from ESSER, is that
Yes, sir.
correct? All right. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Debbie. A second? Was that a second by you, Mr. Hancock? Thank you very much. We have a motion and a second. Any comments from the board, or questions, or comments from the audience? Seeing none, hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Okay. Let's go, Mr. Ricky, to the next one, the right-of-way.
Yes, sir. CenterPoint Energy Resources Corporation is upgrading utility service in the area, and they've requested a right-of-way servitude on Lincoln Parish School Board property near Ruston High School. They see this need as Ruston continues to grow, and the line that they're going to abandon is an aged line, and so they're requesting a 10-foot right-of-way and servitude to reroute the current pipeline. And CenterPoint Energy will pay Lincoln Parish School Board $10 for the right-of-way servitude. And I'm asking that the board grant CenterPoint Energy Resources the right-of-way and the servitude. You've got a map in your folder that we put there. And if you'll look in that bottom left-hand corner, if you'll turn it like this, if you look and you see Bearcat Drive, right there at the R and Drive, you see a red line running up behind. That's running now. I don't know if you know, but that's running behind that car wash on Tech Drive. It's following that concrete wall. The line they're replacing, if you'll go up there, and if you know where Smoothie King is located and the oil change place, there's a yellow line there. That's the line they're going to abandon. And it's a risky line. It's close to a building, and they just want to abandon it. And this will help serve the east side of Ruston.
Okay.
And they do this work in the summer, either this summer or next summer when we weren't in school.
Right.
Okay. Do I have a motion to accept CenterPoint Energy's offer to pay us $10 for the right-of-way? Ms. Linda so moved. Do I have a second? Second by Hunter Smith. I'll just let you have that one. Any comments or questions? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say no. All right, 10.6.
Mr. Phillips, I have Amy Miller.
I was just going to add for you that I did take a look at this before. I mean, it's already passed, but I did take a look at it. And then the nominal consideration, that is very commonplace. There's a lot of these types of right-of-ways and servitudes in our conveyance records with other entities, and that's consistent with what they do. It's good for, the community, so it is a nominal consideration, but it's not something that other entities are making a significant sum off of. I wanted everybody to understand that.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you for that. All right. 10.6. We're going to do the added item that we did for the request to bid. Go ahead, Mr.
So this is just, we're asking the board to approve advertising, accepting of low bids, meeting specifications for the purchase of kitchen equipment, chemicals, pest control, and produce for the 24-25 school year. All these are just things we use in our cafeterias at all of our schools.
All right. Do I have a motion to extend that?
So move.
Thank you. I have a first by Mr. Mack, a second by Mr. Anders, is that right? Perfect. Any comments or questions? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Thank you. Okay, moving on to reports. Personnel, Dr. Lewis.
Mr. President, for May, I'd like to report 2 faculty retirements, 9 faculty resignations, and 1 child nutrition resignation. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, sales tax receipts for April 2024, Ms. Duke, you can have your section now. I'll let you have the next few things. Go
Okay,
ahead. Get
all right,
after it.
I'll take the next 3.
Yep.
Sales tax report for the month of April collections. Collections are down another 6% over the same month last year. So this is 2 months where we're down 6% month over year, I'm sorry. Total accumulated collections for the year, we are down a net 1.3% in overall sales tax collections. The next report being our financial report for the fiscal year ending March 31, 2024. We are getting close to the end of the year, but we still have several more months of expenditures to go. Due to the accrual of July and August salaries, we won't see that appear in our records until the month of June. So currently we have total revenues collected in the general fund of $52.6 million. Total revenues collected in our special revenue funds, $33.1 million, for a total of $85.7 million to date. The largest share of revenues we are anticipating from our education stabilization funds this year of $8.6 million to cover expenses to date plus indirect cost. We have total ending fund balance in our general fund of $40.8 million, and in our special revenue funds, $25.7 million, for a total of $66.6 million. Of our, in our general fund, approximately 47% of the fund balance of $40.8 million is undesignated. And that will be helpful now that the bonds have been been approved by the voters. Whenever we go to get our bond rating for the Shudrint and for the Ruston School District bonds, that's going to help reduce our interest rate whenever we go to market to sell those bonds to get to lower the cost to the taxpayers for financing that debt. Okay, and then we have our health insurance report for the 2024 plan year. Currently, for the first 3 months of the plan year, we have a reduction in our net assets of about $707,000. Again, we had decreases where our expenditures were increasing. In the last plan year, a pretty good amount, and mostly attributed to prescription drugs. Now we're seeing in our plan for the first 3 months of the year that we have some a large number of high dollar claimants that we're actually paying medical and dental services out for. Actually, medical services out for. That's actually the cause of the increases so far this year. So we're monitoring that, and we're hoping that we can come up with some creative solutions with a partner that will help us address our needs in our area of healthcare, our health plan. Okay.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Barron.
Sure, I'm going to start up here if that's okay with you. Trying to manage, in addition, let me go ahead and add a member here. Kind of coordinate. Not joining us yet. So I'm trying to coordinate a live, somebody who's with us live, and then also Ray Pinata, who will be joining us via New Orleans. So just real quick, want to introduce Ms. Wong. She is has partnered with us. She's with an organization, or runs an organization that we've partnered with, I know she's going to give a little bit of an introduction of herself and her organization. But we asked Ms. Wong to come talk to you guys and share with you guys around the work that we've done with them. And so I'm going to turn it over to her, and then when we finish, I've got Ray Kenyatta, who's works with another organization that we've done some work with, and so I want for him to also tell you a little bit about the work that we've been doing with them along the way. So go ahead and hand it over to Ms. Wong.
Thank you, Justin, and thank you all for having me here today. As Justin said, my name is Jamie Wong. I'm the president of SPED Strategies, and I started this organization right at the start of the pandemic, after having spent some time working at the Louisiana Department of Education, supporting the state with special education policy, compliance, academic outcomes, and was there when we were really, as a state, building a lot of the new post-secondary opportunities for students with disabilities. But what I'm really excited to be here today about is to talk to you about one of my favorite stories that I get to tell people all across the country about, and that's the story of what's happening here in Lincoln Parish right now. As Justin mentioned, we started working with all of you quite a few years ago, and I'm excited to talk to you about what we've done so far. So beginning around the 2021-2022 school year, leaders in your district, Ms. Talley and Justin and others, Superintendent Durrett, began really thinking about, as a school district, what is happening for students across the board and how do we improve those outcomes. The team here was leading things like bringing Zern and guidebooks and really focusing in on those high quality instructional materials and making sure that all of your teachers, all of your leaders, your principals here in the district had what they needed to provide that highest level of rigor possible for your students here in Lincoln Parish. In doing this, we've continued to see this growth and this journey. They've added things like Lexia Learning and really made that commitment to the interventions and the tutoring and really being the leader in the state for providing that high quality experience for all students. But alongside this, they've really recognized that there's still, despite all of these efforts, we still experience this gap when it comes to our students with disabilities. We see we're beginning to see growth in students, but we still see that gap between our students with disabilities in proficiency. This is from the NAEP, but you see it across the board in state testing as well, that there's still a gap. Now, this is not unique to Lincoln Parish, but what is unique to Lincoln Parish is the efforts that you all are putting towards it and the growth that you're beginning to see as a result of that. I don't want to spend too much time on data because I really think the important thing for you to understand here is the work that's happening and the opportunities that you have. But there's another really important metric that we've been thinking about in this work, and that is around graduation rates. This is a challenge that we see across the board here in Louisiana, that we're seeing our graduation rates go up. And that has a lot to do with the fact that we've created new opportunities for students with disabilities as well. We've created pathways. You probably have heard of the April Dunn pathway that's addressing some students with disabilities. We have the alternate pathway for students who have significant disabilities, and that has created greater access. But the real call to urgency that we're really seeing across the board is what's happening after high school, right? We're seeing 34% of our students, 2 years after high school, we have no idea where they are. They're not in any sort of post-secondary program, and we have no evidence that they're actually actively participating in workforce in their communities. And that's happening across our state. And here in Lincoln Parish, we're going to talk about an opportunity that you all are leading and really trying to address that piece. But this is a space that I think is really important for us to think about because it's not just about getting students across that finish line and getting them that diploma. That's very important, but we also want to make sure that diploma that we're giving them is rooted in something that's helping them be successful when they leave, and that students are remaining engaged in their communities and living that successful life that we all hope for all of them. So as Justin mentioned, my organization, SPED Strategies, we started working with your team quite some time ago, about 4 years ago, to really tackle this commitment that you all have made on shifting the instructional model to one that is rooted in inclusive education. So together we began exploring what that really meant and how you could leverage those opportunities here in this district to provide an academic experience for every single student that led them to success when they leave your schools. I want to take a second and sort of share with you what we've been sharing with your district leaders, your school leaders, your teachers. Anybody who's participated in our training over the course of the last couple years has seen this graphic. It comes from the Harvard School of Education's research on the impact of inclusive education and really underscores how far our education system as a whole has come from. If you look to the far end of the spectrum where we see inclusion, this is really reflective of a model of school from a long time ago, where certain students, especially those who had disabilities, were not even allowed in school buildings. And we've seen this evolution over time where students were moved into school buildings, but often segregated in classrooms that were solely for students with disabilities, to a model of integration which we still see present in a lot of classrooms today, where students are there, but they might be sitting off to the side, working with a different adult, but not fully immersed in the educational experience. And what we're striving for, and what you see here at schools in Lincoln Parish, especially those like Reston Elementary and Shudrint, who've really been leading this work in your district, is this full inclusion, where every element of their learning experience is inclusive of every learner in the classroom, where teachers are not looking at their role as I serve these students and you serve those students, but they really have embraced this mindset that these are all of our students. And this is happening because their principals have really made this commitment, and we've seen these gains, these shifts in academics as well. We're seeing teachers say, I believe it is my responsibility to teach every child. We're seeing a special education teacher and a general education teacher come together and plan cohesively. These things are happening because of the commitment that your team made 3 years ago, right? And we're now beginning to see that effect and the impact that it's having on students across the board. I highlight this because these things often come up when we talk about inclusive education. The outcomes that you are seeing at Shudrint and Ruston are not happening because you did a whole bunch of new things and you added more to teachers' plates. What's happening is different work, right? The leaders knew that if we just focused on physically moving students into classrooms and not actually spending that time to work with people and help them understand and provide them the resources and that sort of belief and shift the real expectations that people had, that it wasn't going to work, right? We weren't doing more work, we were doing different work. We were shifting how people thought about their responsibilities, how people thought about their beliefs about what students could do, and really supporting teachers every step of the way to do this work differently. And that is translating into more innovative structures around how people are operating their schedules, how they're setting collaboration times, how your teachers, again, your general education teachers and your special education teachers are working together and not working in silos like they may have been in other spaces. But ultimately, how you think about the universal design for learning for all students. A lot of times we see people think that specialized instruction can only be done in one particular way and only be done with certain students. But when you really begin to think about technology, just like we're using today, right? Or think about how we do things different. We provide accommodations that may benefit all students, that one student might need, but everybody can benefit from it. And you begin thinking about that and leading your instructional day with that universal design, you begin to see those shifts. And we actually begin to see teachers feel like they've taken a breath of fresh air because they tend to see those tensions and behaviors go down as well that sometimes can bog down their instruction every day. And this is probably one of my proudest moments. Now this comes directly from an LDOE slide, so it's a little bit hard to see. But I will always remember the moment when this came out this year and calling Justin and Dana and just being so excited to see that Lincoln Parish was at the top for growth. A lot of times we can get really stuck on those absolute scores and where is everybody. But this being at the leader of the state this year when data came out, it's not only signifying that your students are growing, but it's signifying that the work that you are doing is working and it matters. And sometimes this can take a long time and it feels like we're running a marathon. But seeing this come out this year after this dedication that you've all put there is a moment that you all should be very excited about. I imagine you guys celebrated that greatly in a meeting like this a couple months ago. Another thing I want to highlight is a recent study that came out from the U.S. Department of Labor. We've been talking about this a lot with the team as well as it relates to opportunities in your communities. And so what we've seen actually in this report that came out recently is that there's a 20% increase in professional and technical service industries in this geographic area. That creates a lot of opportunities for us to think about what are our high schools doing to prepare our students to take advantage of these opportunities that are now popping up in our community. They've also highlighted a gap in training and this training and certification that's needed in some of these spaces, with a particular real need for students leaving with technology skills. And also we're seeing a gap here and in other places with soft skills such as communication and time management. I think this is probably a result of the technology that everybody has access to now, but we're seeing these things manifest in the workplace, and there are opportunities that we can begin to think about in our high schools, especially as it relates to our students with disabilities and how our high schools can be preparing our students for knowing that these gaps exist and how we can prepare them to capitalize on that when they're leaving the school system. So this leads me to an upcoming exciting opportunity, one that you are probably going to hear about a lot over the course of the next 5 years. About a year ago, the Department of Education at the federal level said to states, we have a problem. We have this process called transition, where students with disabilities should be engaging in planning, and they should be exiting in high school with a plan, and either that's going to be leading them directly to college or some sort of post-secondary education or directly into the workforce. Those metrics that I was talking about before, we are very good at being compliant with that. But as a state, and really every state across the board, we see that that process is more compliance-based. It's not leading to that sustained employment for students. And so they put out a call to action, and they put a lot of money behind it. It's called the Disability Incentive Fund, and the Louisiana Department of Education got $10 million as a state to begin addressing this problem. This real breakdown of students exiting high school and not engaging in the workforce. We have a tremendous opportunity, and your district was actually one of 4 districts selected to participate in this pilot. And so over the course of the next 4 years, you will be receiving funds and support and tremendous opportunity to engage in this post-secondary transition work. We'll be building greater partnerships with Louisiana Rehab Services and businesses in the community to try to create that direct high school to workforce pipeline for students. This is just a little example of some of the things that are going to be happening as a participating district. School sites will be engaged in activities that are providing work-based early career opportunities, some focused on those soft skills and technical skills that we know students are going to have, but ultimately really digging deeper into what are the jobs in your communities and how do we create that pipeline and use our high schools as a training space for students along the way. This really matters because when communities recognize and value inclusion as a way of fostering a sense of belonging for students and individuals with disabilities, they can play a really integral role in the economic development and really setting that stage for students. And so we have seen this commitment, my team, the Department of Education, and others, we've seen this commitment here, and we are just really excited to be a part of working with you all to create this opportunity for students here. And I would leave you with this. So this, as I mentioned, this is a 5-year opportunity that we're working with you on. But I really believe by the end of this grant cycle, you will be leading the state. You have already started that path. In fact, just beginning tomorrow and through the rest of the week, leaders from Union Parish will be coming here to see some of this work in action. They have heard what's happening in your schools, and they want to come see as they begin their journey to try to really replicate some of the great work that's happening here. So we're excited to be a part of it. I wonder if you have any questions or if there's anything else I can share with you that might be helpful before I hand it over to Ray.
What other 3 districts?
So it's a 5-year grant. Lincoln and Catahoula are the first 2 pilot sites. And so you all are both very further along in your journey towards inclusive education and are now going to be really making that shift into the high school experience, whereas Union and Catahoula are just starting their sort of baseline work, where Caldwell, sorry. No, Union and
You say
Catahoula.
Caldwell.
Lincoln and Caldwell. Yeah, Lincoln and Caldwell. Sorry, I confused my C's there on the spot. But Lincoln and Caldwell are sort of phase one, where high school work is beginning over the course of this year and the next 4 years after that. And Union and Catahoula, they will spend the next 2 years really doing some of this foundational inclusive education work that we were just talking about, that you all have been doing for quite some time, as they then begin to expand into high school. Ultimately, though, the things that we are perfecting here with you all and in other parishes will be ideally expanded throughout the course of the entire state. The goal is that we have a framework that helps every high school, every district and every high school really know and understand how you become a vendor with LRS, how you actually approach a business in your community to get them to create these opportunities. And building that framework is going to happen here, but it's going to expand everywhere.
All right, so I'm gonna, thank you, Jen, for that. I'm gonna hand it over to, to Ray, and he's gonna tell you a little bit about the work that we've done with Blue Engine, which is another organization that we've worked with, specifically to kind of equip teachers with skills and to do really more classroom-based work. So I'm gonna give it over to him. If there's a little bit of lag here, I apologize. It's just working through the technology. So I'm letting know if he needs.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Ray Kenyatta, and I'm the AVP of Program Implementation at Blue Engine. And our work continues to build off the great work that Sped Strategies have been doing within the Lincoln Parish context. And so for folks who are not familiar with Blue Engine, we're a nonprofit learning organization that has been supporting Lincoln Parish since the 21-22 school year. Now, our work really addresses the critical challenge of school systems. How do we meet diverse learning needs in a classroom in order to access grade level learning every single day? Our work partners with schools and districts across the country to ensure daily classroom instruction works for all students. And so as we think about our support, our approach really addresses three critical questions. One, are all students being taken into account as we think about daily lesson design? Two, does every educator play a clear and impactful role in data-driven planning and instruction? And lastly, does teacher support lead to concrete changes in practice that accelerate student learning for all students? Now, as we think about our work and how it has lived in the Lincoln Parish District, in the school year 21-22, our work centered on 4-part coaching cycles to develop the capacity of a district leader, in this case Justin at the time, to support the increase of effective coaching practices related to data-driven planning and instruction. At Blue Engine, we have a specific theory of action that centers on a belief that increasing effective inclusion practice on the part of teachers will lead to improved student learning outcomes. From that first year partnership, we were able to see, one, shifts in teacher practice as it relates to planning, where both the general educator and special educator played meaningful roles in both planning and instruction. We also saw impact at student level outcomes as well. So if you look at the screen in front of you at the bottom center, there in front of you is a comparison of student reading proficiency rates for the inclusion classes, part of the Blue Engine coaching support, versus the inclusion classes that were not supported through our partnership. Looking at the data, both Gen Ed and students with disabilities had learning impact by the end of that first year. As we think about growth over beginning to end of year, higher percentages of both general education and students with disabilities were at grade level reading levels at the culmination of our first year. Now, our work since then has evolved, and so after that first year, we then shifted to the support of a new district leader, in this case Brooke Heffler, and our support center on coaching her to support changes in instructional practice for teams of teachers. Last year, she directly supported teams of teachers to increase effectiveness in co-teaching practice, and similarly to the first year, we saw increases of role and responsibility on the part of both Gen Ed and special educators in both planning and instructional delivery. When we look at the student level outcome data, there also correlates to assessment averages that are higher for the Blue Engine classrooms, and the gaps between general education and students with disability are decreasing over the course of the school year. Now, as we think about long term, Blue Engine's work is shifting to a place of him thinking about strategic impact and scale. And how do we increase the scale of this work across the district in an intentional and sustainable manner so that Lincoln Parish is driving the work instead of Blue Engine? And so this past year was a start of that phase where we looked at shifting the Blue Engine coaching support to working with Brooke, in this case the district leader, to support school coaches instead of the school co-teaching teams. And by supporting the school coaches, we've been able to see an impact where the support of co-teaching practice is being embedded into the PLC structure at the school sites that we've been working at this past year. And similarly, when we look at the student outcome data, we're seeing trends of impact where your schools on average, part of the Blue Engine partnership work, are performing at higher rates on the unit assessments in both math and ELA, and similarly gaps between Gen Ed and students with disabilities is decreasing over the course of the year. And so I'm going to pause there. I know I shared a lot of information and just wanted to open the floor for any questions that folks may have.
So just one more thing that
And Justin, I'm not able to hear anything, so if folks are sharing something out, might need to unmute a microphone.
It's going to feed back, so we'll hold off on that for just a second. But questions? So one more thing that I want to point out is we've done this work formally in five schools. We've provided informal supports across a number of other campuses, and so we've seen a lot of really great gains in the places where we've done this. The conversation, like Ray spoke to, was like how do we continue to expand the work? And so that's what we're on track to do now. Those are our efforts for the upcoming for next school year. But anyway, I just wanted to take this opportunity this evening to just share about, like, these are just two things that we're doing, and I say just two things. I think these are two really great things that we're doing to support diverse learners. And so, I just wanted to share with you kind of the work that's happening behind the scenes, and just let you know that we are seeing shifts in academics. We are seeing gains in classrooms, and our goal is just to continue that and to close the gap between outcomes for students with disabilities and those non-disabled peers.
What 5 schools are you working in?
So we've done work Hillcrest, Cypress Springs, I. Lewis, Ruston Elementary, and Shooter Elementary are the ones that we've formally done work in. But like we've done some other coaching on a number of other campuses, but just not in terms of a formal structure. Anything else?
Just a quick comment, I'm fortunate enough to be on Justin's Special Education Advisory Council as the board representative, and the work that Justin and his team and the different people that they partner with has truly been remarkable for a guy that doesn't know anything about special education. To see the work that these people continue to pour into our kids and our families in this district, it has really been something to see, and I think they should be commended for that, and I'm excited about seeing where it goes.
I'm just happy to hear about inclusion. When I first came to Lincoln Parish, I was at the 4-year school level. They had separate classrooms, separate playground. I went out there in that shop and got that tractor, and I hooked it to the fence and tore all of it down. I created the first inclusion in a pre-K program. And we all know that kids learn from one another. If you stay in there and nobody does anything, you're not gonna learn anything. So I'm kind of objective. But they either bought in or bought out, because the kids deserve the best. I can say, especially it does wonders for a lot of kids. We have to take care of them as well.
Yeah.
Because I have to listen to it every night. My wife worked 36 years in special ed. She would get on to me and see what she thinks.
Justin, before you go, to follow up with Ms. Linda's point, do you anticipate moving forward? I know Hunter's going to obviously report back to us, but do you anticipate getting into the high schools with this?
We do. We know that the LISET work, which is the grant, the DIF grant, we know that that's going to take us into that space. And to be honest, it's a complex space for a number of reasons. We know that work is going to take us there for the purposes of that work or that grant. But I do think we're talking just Blue Engine and the coaches work that we've done. Yes, we've got to get into the secondary space. We've been really focusing on our elementaries up to this point. But I think we've got a good model that's going to give us a little bit more reach in terms of working with coaches and things like that to build that skill set in those places. So some unique challenges, but yes, ultimately.
And if I can just add to what Justin is saying, we talked a lot about when we were trying to decide where to prioritize and where to focus, do we start at high school, do we start at elementary? And what we decided was if we don't get started on elementary now, high school is going to continue to have problems year after year.
Mm-hmm.
So we can fix that problem, but then the ones coming up will not have addressed. So we were really aggressive with our elementaries, knowing we wanted immediately to start with high school, but we also needed a little bit of time for those efforts to trickle up, so that it wouldn't be such a heavy lift once we got to high school. But we're about to get pretty deep in high school, which is pretty exciting.
My friend Mr. Ferguson has been preaching since I came on the board, reading proficiency. If we can't teach him to read, we don't give him a future. And I love seeing that on the chart, reading proficiency going up.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Barron. Okay, Mr. Durrett, enrollment update.
So you have the enrollment update. All of our schools are still above 90%. Kids attending, trying to work to keep them back in school. I will say Mr. Nutt and our truancy department has worked hard to chase kids down and get them back in school and trying to keep them there. So appreciate all that work.
Okay.
My report.
Any other items you want to talk about?
So just a reminder, last day for kids will be May 23rd. We're not moving that up. We've been asked several times. We got out several times for some rain, storms, some ice. So we will go till the May 23rd with students. Teachers' last day will be May 24th. And then, of course, we have Teacher Leader Summit with the state down in New Orleans from May the 27th through the 30th. We'll leave on that Monday on a bus going down there, and then coming back on the 30th. Just a reminder to all of you, graduations, Shudrance will be May 20th, starting at 6:30 at Howard Auditorium. Ruston High Schools will be the next night on Tuesday, May 21st, 7 o'clock at Thomas Assembly Center. And then Simsboro will be May 23rd, that Thursday at 7 o'clock back in Howard Auditorium. So if you can make any of those, I would encourage you to be there for any and all if you'd like. Our summer learning program will start in June and we'll be at Cypress Springs this year. Mr. Young, Ms. Talley, and our principals are working together to figure out which students we could benefit most from that. And then last, I put in your portfolios some information about summer school last year, that information that was requested, and then there's a packet on Jumpstart for you to read at your pleasure that was requested also. So looking forward to finishing up the year and working on staffing and everything over the summer and beginning another year. Thank you. Yes, sir.
You're welcome. All right, any final comments from board members before we adjourn? Yes, sir.
Are we monitoring these kids that were in place back? See if they are
We are.
moving forward?
We've talked to principals about looking at that data at the end of this year to see how they progressed this year after they went to summer school. Did it help? Did they stay the same? How that did? I'll tell you this, we're going to try to do a survey. We can track kids that graduate going to college. We get a report from the universities to see, who's enrolled. And then we're going to try to do a survey with our Jumpstart kids or any that leave us. The challenge that we've talked to every district in the state, that the state doesn't track it, but we're going to try to do it through some surveys through the emails we have, but we'll need them to respond. And we'll see how that goes this summer.
One more request.
Yes, sir.
I read a lot of articles where it said that athletics promote academics. I'd like for somebody in here to bring me some statistics and show me. I did it 25 years. It didn't make no difference. He either passed or he failed. So don't have an English teacher trying to tell me about athletics. If you've been on that field and you've been in that office around with the administration, it's a do or no. He can tell you who's failing, who's barely making it. And if athletics was such a great motivator, they all would be on a roll. They would all be passing, but it doesn't happen that way. So, anybody out there that had any input in this garbage, bring me some statistics. I know you don't know.
I didn't say I didn't know. I don't know you either.
I know you don't know, but don't print what you don't know. That's my point. You gonna print what's right.
Well, we did.
But you didn't have no statistics. And you can't even prove it now. Mr. President.
Yes, sir.
Let's get out of here.
Before we go, I got one more thing to say. I believe today is National Teacher Appreciation Day.
It is.
And around this board table, we have former teachers. We have some people that are still in the schools working today. We've got lots of great educators in our district that I think deserve our recognition. They go put their boots on every day, strap them up, and go to work. And they should be commended. As a father, as a graduate of this district, as a father of 3 sons that will graduate from this district, I'm proud to say that my kids will graduate from this district that are taught by great educators in this district. And I think they should be commended. And I'll give them a round of applause.
Hear, hear. Go ahead.
One other thing that I would like to share that's on my heart a little bit. A family from our biggest rival high school lost a son in January. He's the exact same age as my son, doing the exact same things that my sons like to do, and that's go to the hunting camp and enjoy time in God's creation. His name was Tarver Braddock, and Tarver passed away tragically in early January. Since then, his parents have created the Tarver Braddock Foundation. They have raised significant funds that they have now dispersed amongst local schools. They gave, in the last 2 weeks, they have given $30,000 in scholarships to students at Neville High School, Washita High School, Carroll High School, and Ruston High School. $5,000 each to students who are pursuing a trade of some sort. Tarver was a big fan of the welding shop at Neville High School, and they wanted to do that in honor of him. I was grateful enough, or blessed enough to be a part of that at Ruston High School the other day. A gentleman named Jackson Barron, a senior graduating from Ruston High School, received a $5,000 scholarship from the Tarver Braddock Foundation that will be used towards his tuition at the trade school of his choice. So I will tell you, if you have something on your heart that you want to give towards, look up the Tarver Braddock Foundation. They're doing some really great stuff with it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Two final things. Just to let you know, you can put it on your calendar, May 22nd. We will have a Finance Committee meeting at 11 o'clock here. So that's May 22nd. And then lastly, just to remind you, if you have not done your Tier 3 disclosure form, make sure you do that. These are required by law to be done by May 15th, or you face penalties and fines by the state of Louisiana. So May 15th, make sure you get that in before then.
One more thing, I would like to announce that I lost my daughter-in-law.
Yes.
Friday. Unexpected, died on the job. 59 years old. Had made plans to be in Puerto Rico Sunday just passed to celebrate reaching 60. Her birthday will be in a couple of weeks. But my grandchildren, she has 3 children. They are now, the 2 girls, without a mother nor father. Their dad passed 13 years ago. I ask your prayers for the family. The services will be at Miracle Temple down near the sports complex. Saturday at 1 o'clock. That's the only information I have so far. Okay.
Thank you. We'll be praying for you. Thank you
you.
for sharing that. Anything else? I'll take a motion. We adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Y'all have a great night. Thank you. We're dismissed.